April 28, 2021. That was the day my life as an engineering student at Pulchowk Campus was supposed to begin. My excitement to finally start studying at Pulchowk Campus was off the charts. And after over a year of having virtually no social life at all, as if I had one, I was looking forward to meeting new people and making new friends. I was excited to rejoice the beautiful environment of the campus, and I was looking forward to learning topics new to me. Most of all, I was excited about the journey to becoming an engineer. But in the meantime, the COVID cases were increasing rapidly again, and I was afraid that we were nearing another lockdown. And just days before the day I was so very looking forward to, my fear became true. We were going into another lockdown for an indefinite period of time. I was sad. I was disappointed as well. But a part of me was happy. I mean, very, very happy because I got to go back home. Yes, Pulchowk Campus would have been great, but nothing would have felt better than going home and spending time there with loved ones. So I was so ready to go back home and spending time there. But something that I was not ready for at all was the insufferable online classes. I mean, those were absolutely shit. I don't know if it was because I could not figure out a way to cope up with the online classes, or online classes are in fact boring, but I do not know. I think maybe it was me. But it looked like our whole first semester was going to be online, and I needed to figure out a way about how I'd approach my studying and how I'd finish my first semester. I decided to make digital notes, typing lecture notes in Notion and reviewing them later, occasionally making Anki flashcards. I told myself that after the classes for the day were over, I'd go out for a while to get some movement and fresh air and then review what had been taught. Then I'd review the concepts and do problems. It seemed like a good and executable plan to me. But my old habit said otherwise, and my first semester was a complete disaster. By the time our classes had started after our entrance exam was over, I think it had already been 2 months, and during that period I developed a bad habit of spending my time on social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I replied to messages on Facebook and I scrolled through my timeline and I read random wrestling tweets that added no value to me whatsoever. And the only productive thing that I did was, I think, watch videos on YouTube about productivity, college life and note taking. And I didn't realize that this had become a habit of mine until our online classes started. Whenever I got bored, I opened a new tab and scrolled mindlessly. If there was a break in between classes, then I'd go to Twitter and read random wrestling tweets. For the first couple of weeks, it was not that hard. My social media usage did not affect me much because the schedule was light. But our course was supposed to be completed in 3 months. I mean, 3 months for all that amount of information, and our course started to go on faster. It was mostly theoretical. We did not have practical classes because of the circumstances that we were in, and it was boring. It was difficult and it was a lot of pressure for me. Of course, it would not have been that hard if I had managed my time, energy and focus on the right places, but my lazy ass thought that it would be a good idea to spend a couple of hours a day on social media doing like this all the time, even after all those hours spent in front of the screen for online classes. I just could not focus properly. I was not able to execute what I had planned. Yes, I typed notes during classes, but that was done mostly mindlessly. I already knew that the way I was studying was taking me nowhere. If I found something difficult, then I kept them for later, for review, only for them to pile up. And if I found something easy, then I kinda ignored it. I was completely frustrated at myself. The only thing that was keeping me sane was home. I was happy to be there despite me failing to meet even half the expectations that I had for myself. I just wanted that semester to end. I wanted the online classes to end. Our month-long exam finally ended, and I was so disappointed in myself. I hated myself for what I had not done, for what I had ignored, or for how foolish I had become. For the first time in my life, I was scared that I'd fail in an exam. It would take some time for our results to come. There was a break in between, and after the break, our second semester would start. I was determined to make my second semester a good one. I was bent on not repeating the same mistakes again and making a mess of myself. But I also knew that I had a lot of ground to cover. I could not just flick a switch and turn everything around. I needed to do a lot of work. A lot of things needed to be changed. In the first semester, I was not expecting the course to be such a rushed one. But this time, I needed to be ready for that. I needed to be on point every time. So I looked for different ways in which I could study properly and different methods of note-taking. And I settled upon a note-taking method where I divide the page into 3 sections and write the important bits. I'd write questions that came to my mind and I'd search for the answers to those questions after I came back to my room. I could really feel this in the first 2 classes at Pulchowk Campus. I was just happy to be there. I was grateful and I was relieved that we had moved on from those shitty online classes. I was just sick of that. And the first few weeks were absolutely beautiful. I was doing well in class, I felt, and my note-taking system seemed to work well for the time being. I was not getting distracted that often and I was having a blast with my friends. I loved my walk to campus, I enjoyed learning in class for most of the part, and it was a great joy studying in the library. Finally, in the second semester, we had a welcome program organized for us. We had a lot of fun, minus me. I got bored and left early. And I loved playing cricket with my friends. Hell, we even reached the semi-finals of a cricket tournament on the campus. Losing felt bad. But something worse happened. No, it was not the results, they were not back yet, but sadly, there was a COVID outbreak on our campus and we had to go back to online classes again. Fortunately, and I say fortunately because there were only a few classes left. And after a while, we got the results for our first semester and I was so relieved when I found out that I had passed. I swear I had not felt that relieved or that happy even when I got the results for the IOE entrance exam. Our course was about to be completed. Exam season was coming and I had not started preparing for it yet. And when I had finally made a plan for the exam, I realized that the way I took notes had failed again. I could not do my revision from those notes, so I had to go back to my old ways of studying again. I told myself that I was one hell of a lucky person to have gone through first semester, and I did not want to go back to that place again. I wanted to make this semester a much better one. I knew I had a lot to cover, but I was not very nervous this time. I knew that if I wanted to be in a better place, then I had to sacrifice a few things, and I did that. But getting into the focus zone was very difficult most of the time. Very rarely I went into that zone and it was awesome, but most of the time it was very hard to get into that zone. And during those times I took a break and tried to get into that zone again. Up to that point, my first year had not gone like I had planned, but I was grateful for every good thing that had happened in that year. I loved the good moments that I had, but I wanted this year to end. I wanted to end it on a good note though, so I did the best that I could at that time to perform well in the exam. Of course, I executed mostly everything badly, but I was just relieved at the end of the day that this day was over and a better day was coming. I wanted to start the new phase fresh. I wanted to go back home and come back refreshed and start my second year as an engineering student. And that is where I am at the moment. I'm back at home and I am feeling excited and I cannot wait for the second year to officially begin. I learned a lot of lessons along the way and I know I've still got a lot to learn and I've got a lot of work to do, but I'm looking forward to them. I'm looking forward to the challenges ahead. I just hope I apply the lessons that I had learned diligently, and I hope I do not let myself down because there's a lot of fun things ahead. So, see you very soon.
Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel